My bus.
Picking at tuneslikebeard.com.
Yeah, beats.
My God, you got a spell on me now. Fast.
Welcome to our viewer out there on Facebook and YouTube. This is the Rahim Show, and I'm your host, Rackie Allie, joined by my co-host, Lolo Smith. Welcome, Lolo Smith.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to having you on the show as always. And to our viewer out there, if you are watching the show, it's just for a short time, a special edition on this issue of morality and prophet key. But I want to make one thing clear to our viewer out there. We are not here to judge anyone, but we just want to have a better society. And we believe that Liberia deserves a better person. So we are just going to talk about this whole thing's about morality. And we want you to be a part of the show. If you're watching the show, share the show, like and comment, and we highly appreciate that. So, Lolo, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
I was born. I don't know whether you're familiar with Tuba. You
Well,
know
what?
Tuba, and you were very little when you left from Liberia, so you haven't been there for a while, right?
Right.
So there's a place on the old road called Tuba. I was born in the Cali hospital and grew, spent my whole life in Tuba. Growing up, my mom, in the late '80s, rather, my mom taught me
Mm-hmm.
how to why to to treat all with respect and
Mm-hmm.
consideration. So I believe that decent people always prefer a respectful discourse, and polite society, and that's what we want to see for Liberia. We want to see decencies in our society. And we don't just want to see somebody who will use the social platform or media and just abuse people. And then at the same time, they are given an opportunity because what goes around comes around. And we are not here to condemn anyone, but we are here to condemn the actions that bring her to where we are today. So I know you are a decent lady, and you and I, we have had some time together, and I know you to be somebody very good. So a leader can set the example of respect and
Mm-hmm.
decency to decrease the level of incivilities that takes place in our society. That's what we want to see. Civility really means a lot because the system of justice simply cannot function fairly and reliably with systemic instability. You don't want to see people, just using social platform and just abuse people and abuse ladies. Those are not decent behavior. So we want, our government to understand that such a move and a behavior are not, acceptable in our society. So
Right.
what would you say about the issue of decency? How do you expect the leader to put people, into offices that will lead our country that have integrity and decency? What would you say?
I mean, the person should have a decent characters. You should have a good character. When, let's say, a leader should always be what, somebody that inspire you. You should always
Yep.
inspire others. You should be like the pastor. Now I'll take that back. I'll take that back. Like, for example, Obama is a leader. He has a good character. So we need somebody who has a very good character, who people, younger generation will look up to, will say, okay, wow, look at that man, I want to be like him. So that's kind of like being a when you want to be decent, you have to be an example. Be an example so people can look up to you. So that's part of being decent right there. Being a leader is just have that, character of, politeness, respectful, just showing that kindness to, have that character. That's
So I'm going to play you a video, about for our viewer out there. If you're watching the show, we are discussing morality and Prophet Key, and we want you to tune in. We put a number on the screen so that you can call and make your contribution. We want to see a decent Liberia. We know that under this particular leadership, Joseph Waka, and we want to see people who have integrity and respect for people appointed in position that will lead
Mhm.
Liberia to a better society. So I'm going to play you a video of this young man that we are discussing, and you will hear some of the language. How can it be that you say you want to be a cultural ambassador and you say you want to, change this, the cultural system of our country, yet you are saying that abusing people is part of our culture? I want you to listen for yourself so that I can be like, you know, uh,
Prophet Key.
yeah. So I just want you to watch this video and let
Culture
our
ambassador position.
Because I knows the culture very well.
You know the culture of Liberia?
Yes.
What is culture?
Culture is a way of life, a social way of life for people.
Is that the way of life for men to insult women? I come back to my question.
Okay, thank you. It's also a way of life in our culture. Let me educate you.
It's a way of life for men to insult women when they disagree with them?
Not to insult when you disagree, but to insult is a way of life in our culture. Let me tell you.
In our Liberian culture?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where you come from. Maybe you are not very orientated.
Tell me.
But let me educate you. Even yesterday when I went to pack up, when the women there met me.
The women met you?
Yes, they put their lap down. My ambassador, she's honest to happy. All the song that is sunk from the road to where I sit, they were all insults.
Like what? How they sang the song?
You want me to sing the song?
No. No. This is a family radio program.
Yeah, so you can sing the song.
Okay.
You can't use the language.
Were they insulting you?
It was insulting songs.
To you or to?
No, to me, to everybody around. It's a cultural welcoming. It's all about insults.
I don't understand that.
Yes, it's part of it. You're just young to that.
I was born here. I've never left this country. I don't know what part of our culture suggests that people should insult people to compliment them.
Yes.
How can people spread lappers for you and they insult you at the same time? They use insultive sounds.
No, they're not insulting me. The insult is in the song, and it's the way it look like.
When do people insult? Prophet Key?
People not insult when the people insult for very reason.
Okay.
People insult when they bother with criminals, when they are being abused. When they bother with witchcrafts, and people also insult when they're happy.
When do you insult? Why do you insult?
I insult because criminals are hijacking my country, stealing everything. I don't have guns. The other people have guns. The agency brought rebel in the country to remove other people I don't have. That means, so the means that I have to eradicate and corruption is to insult them.
And by insulting people, they feel less of themselves and they want to relinquish the positions they occupy. You think so?
No, not rather relinquish the position, but to change from the evil way.
Is Julie a criminal?
And Julie?
Yeah.
But I never insulted Julie.
You didn't insult her?
No.
Oh, you didn't mention that she slept with child killer, and then you say you want to be culture ambassador. That infuriated her.
Yes, I never insulted.
Wow. Look, this guy said,
so funny. This man has his own individual morals. So there's something something he either angry at somebody or that's just who he is, So
I think you heard it for yourself, right? You heard it for yourself. The man was hosted in studio and he said that cursing is part of our culture. Can you believe that?
No, it's part of his culture.
It's not part of any culture. No one.
Right.
Let me tell you something, right?
It's part of his belief. That's what he believed. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. Yeah. So you see, let's say, let me just read something here that is very important for our audience out there to be able to notice. Why is it important for us to discuss this thing? Because this is very important for our Liberian society. Because our younger people out there watch some of the things on Facebook, on social media, and we don't want to set a bad example. I'm a parent. I have 3 kids, and I will not use this platform to start abusing people and saying things. There are ways, that you can engage somebody who is doing the wrong thing in a nation. than for you to popularly go on and on social media and just insult people. I mean, you don't even think about your character. All of those things can affect your character and tarnish your reputation. So, as the cultural ambassador, right, your
Mm-hmm.
primary role is to promote understanding, respect, and appreciation for diverse culture. This often involves planning and executing cultural events that require strong organization skills, creativity, and deep understanding of the culture you represent. How can you represent the culture? You say you can do better than even the lady who is serving as a cultural ambassador. I have a video. It's just that for some reason I cannot play that video on our platform because that guy popularly insulted, like you saw in a recording, right? He said that he did not insult the lady. He only said something towards her relationship with something else. So this guy lied completely in the presence of our of that let's say in studio. So imagine such a person insulting people. And then people there in Liberia are trying to rally around him, embrace him. And so let the truth be told. We cannot accept these particular things in our society. Liberia is very decent, and we want to see decent people lead our country. So for that reason, I would say, like I right here, a cultural ambassador primary role is to promote understanding.
Right,
You cannot want to be a cultural ambassador yet you use public media to insult people, insult ladies. I mean, God forbid. Why would you do that? Why would you
right,
do that? See, why would you do that? You see, your role is to promote understanding and respect. What is your
right,
respect? What is your manner?
right.
So we are discussing for
I
our
would
viewer
say,
out
I
there.
would say,
If you are joining the show, this is a Rahim show, and I'm your host, Rackie Allie, joined by my co-host. We are waiting for two more persons to be part of our show. We are discussing morality and prophetic behavior. We are not trying to condemn anybody to bring judgment on anybody, but what we are saying is our brother need to change and ask for forgiveness because this habit of insulting man cause on social media can haunt you in the long run. Go ahead. Go ahead.
right.
And
Well, I will say, well, in life, everybody have chances, right? Everybody need chances. And being that he want to be somebody important in Liberia, he probably will learn from his lesson. He's gonna, like he said, I heard a lot about him that he is very, disrespectful when it comes to women. But you can't judge a person, that, right? We as a Christian, you're supposed to be a forgiving person. So
yeah,
if Liberian people, if we all have a good side and a bad side.
yeah.
So if this man really want to become a leader, he needs to really change, like you said, forgive himself and change to become good for the country if he really want to become,
Yeah,
a leader.
that
I'm not
obviously
gonna
that's what
say I don't
that.
really, huh?
Go ahead, go ahead. Obviously, that's what we want to see. We want to see
Right.
a good Liberia, good Liberia, and good people and a good society. Go ahead.
Right, because mind you, there's people who like what he's doing, and there's other people who don't like what he's doing. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be hard for him to just say, you know what? Oh, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. So it's his own individual morals he has. That's his character. So if he cannot change his ways, we can't change him. There's people who out there is voting for him. There's people who like what he do. It just is up to him to say, you know what? I want to do this for my country, and I'm gonna change my behavior. The only bad thing I say he got a mouth. He talk about women. He cuss. He's very rude, but he's a human being. So there's really nothing, I can say. It's
yeah. I
sad.
mean,
It's very sad. It's very
all,
hurting that
yeah.
he can sit
Obviously,
on social media, because social media, he has this moral because he wants to create his followers. So there's so many ways, a person can become to be who they want to be. So if that's his character, then that's very, very bad. But I just think that everybody needs chances. Everybody, needs to be given a chance to do something in the country. So if he's gonna go there, he just needs to change his ways. He just
yeah.
needs to become a good person.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the point.
have that decency to say, you know what, I'm here to support my country. I want to become a leader. I want the younger generation to look at me to, for all the good things I can do, not for the bad things, I say on social media and stuff like that. So that's what we need to look at. That's really what we need to
I
look at.
mean, you just got the point, right? That's one of the reasons why we are discussing it. We are not trying to, condemn anybody. We all make mistakes, but
Right.
what we are saying is this young man have made a mistake using, social media to abuse people, abuse mind calls, and so for that reason, we are saying that he should be able to ask for forgiveness about some of these things that he have done because, take for instance, like I said earlier, right? My parent, growing up in the late 80s, my parent taught me how to be respectful to order,
Right.
and have
Right.
some consideration, to see myself using this particular media, somebody, I guess we have somebody who have joined, let me see, okay, Francis is here. uh Welcome, Francis. Welcome, Francis. Good to have
Welcome,
you.
Francis. The
As
bro's
usual,
back. The
Francis
bro's
is
back.
here on the show. Francis, I think you've been following the show before you eventually
Mhm.
came on. So we are discussing the whole issue of morality of our society because we want to see a better Liberia under this particular regime. We don't want to see people who will use social media to just. First of all, we are not judging anybody here. We are just saying the right thing for our country because we want to see the right people in places where they are able to serve our people. So for you, Johnny Francis, welcome to the show, and it's always a pleasure to have you. So what would you say? First of all, let me just read something that is right, something that I wanted to say here. We use this platform to actually engage our leadership out there. We want to engage our leadership constructively. It is always good to engage into constructive criticism than to just come out here, you and I just use, profanity and use language that are not decent. What it's going to look, it's going to eventually reflect on us. Oh, Ricky had a show where he was, saying this or saying that. So you always want to have a constructive mode where you constructive approach where you can engage your leaders and see the right thing done. But let me just read something here somebody wrote, right? It said, what is the difference between a constructive criticism and being rude? So this was the response that I got from the person. They said a constructive criticism means to be
Mhm.
helpful. It is actually meant to be helpful. Thus, it is usually longer and more elaborate than just an opinion. It will also offer some advice to improvement and even some positive comment. You see, that's what constructive criticism does. It will, provide some sort of, let's say, advice for improvement. Because when you are doing this constructive criticism, you are telling the government there are a lot of corruption. We need to tackle corruption. So all of those things can help the government to improve the issue of corruption, fight the issue of corruption, because you are engaging the government constructively, but not to come out here and just use abusive languages. So I guess Francis want to say something, so I will let him to speak.
Go ahead, Francis.
You are muted, Francis. You are
We can
muted.
hear you. Unmute yourself.
Francis, unmute yourself.
There you go. You got it. Hit
Unmute
the mic.
yourself, Francis. You are muted.
Hit the mic. The mic.
Hit the mic, Francis. You've been here before. Hit the mic.
Maybe it's just the weather. I think it's the weather. Can you, Rahim, you probably want to mute him. We still can't hear you. He's gonna come back.
He's
Unmute you.
gonna
There
come
you
back.
go.
Yeah, he's gonna come back. He's
Yeah.
gonna come back.
So
Yeah.
probably that's what he needs. He really needs to look at himself in the mirror and say, you know what? Oh, God, please forgive me. I want this position.
I
I
mean,
want to
I mean,
become a
I
leader
mean,
of
we
a.
all we all do make mistakes in different areas.
Yes, we
But
do.
what we are saying to use this platform and just go out there and insult people. I mean, we play
Like I
the
said, he
we,
probably
we
have a
play the video.
reason. You
Yeah.
probably have a reason for doing that. That's like I said, people do so many things to be on social media, and probably that's the way. But being that he has this opportunity to become a leader, he probably gonna become a better person. For example, look at what's his name? What's Donald Trump? Look at Donald Trump. People don't like him, but well, he still became a president, right? But
Oh,
did
yeah.
he change? Did he change? He's still the same person. So it's just giving the person a chance, you know. Let it maybe that the shot boy he get, he needs to turn it around.
I
I
mean, I
like
mean,
I like the way he can talk. I like the confidence he has. Oh my God, he's very good at that. But when it comes to that other part, he's so I don't know. So Liberian people, like you said, just need to really be thoughtful on how
all right.
they're
I think
choosing him.
Francis is back. Francis is back. So Francis,
Hey Francis.
now
So
you
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 fix
are
your
now
mic.
How
you are
are
now
you?
on mute now.
You
So
finish
say
fixing the
something.
mic.
You can hear me now?
And we can hear you loud and clear. Go.
We
Good,
do.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry guys. Good
It's okay.
evening, Lulu. Good evening, Ricky. I was
Guys,
trying to.
Francis.
I've been juggling my way between the phone and my laptop. I don't know. So I finally had to leave the laptop and come back to the telephone though.
You got iPhone? I hope that iPhone you got. Or
No, I
not.
got Android. I got Samsung.
Thank you. Welcome to the
Yeah.
family.
Right. Oh, fun fact though, I've never used iPhone before.
Please don't go to iPhone. Let me stop. Okay, go answer the question.
Please. I mean, we are not discussing iPhone. Your leader
It's
iPhone.
okay. Go
We want to
to, I'm
stick to
trying
the
to make it
issue.
fun here. All right, go to.
We want to stick to the topic today
All
for
right.
our viewer out there. Friends, before you say something for our viewer out there, if you're watching the show, this is the Rahim Show, and I'm your host, Rackie Allie, joined by my co-host, Lolo Smith, and then my own brother, Francis Wallet, is also here. We are discussing the issue of morality and the issue of prophet key. We are not saying that we are against anyone having, being appointed for a position in Liberia. All we are saying is the issue of this guy going using public social media to abuse ladies, to say a lot of things. We won't be able to encourage that in our society. We want to see a better human being and a better person for our society. Go ahead, Francis. So you can hit the like button, share the podcast, and also be a part of the show. And we highly appreciate. If you want to come live, we're going to share the number momentarily. You can call that number and be a part of the show and make your contribution. Go ahead, Francis.
Good evening again, and thanks guys for having me.
You're welcome.
Prophet Key. That guy is in-
Interesting.
interesting figure, and it's not funny anymore. Um,
Yeah.
the fact that I saw a couple of videos from him and a couple of memes or so people were posting online, talking about he wants to be a culture ambassador
Mm-hmm.
and leadership is so unique. Coming from a Christian background, the Bible encourage leaders to be exemplars. The Bible says that you have to set an example for the community or for your constituent or for your environment.
Yes.
And the essence of community is to coexist, to
Mm-hmm.
be around people, to help people, to be available for people to help you as well, and to lead in a way that people can follow your example. Personally, for me, Prophet Key is not entertaining. He's not funny at all. I feel like he's really, 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 really. It's embarrassing. And there is a saying that says, "Nobody cares for what is right when what is wrong is more entertaining." That is the lane I see Prophet Key kind of trending in because for a man who wants to be a leader
Mm-hmm.
to just all rightly take on a platform or create a platform and just denigrate women and just cost anyhow, I think it's totally unacceptable. It's immoral
Right.
because when we look at the definition of morality, I mean, just from the Webster Dictionary, it says it defines morality as principle concerning the distinction between right and wrong, or good and bad behavior. Just by that definition, I think Prophet Key is very immoral because in our society, there is nowhere just cursing, outrightly cursing people because you disagree with them is acceptable or is a good thing. So, in terms of trying to ascend to a position, look at what happened a couple of weeks ago, or weeks ago, when he planned to come to Liberia. I saw snippet of videos that he was cursing Julie Indy, and there is another lady. I'm really not familiar with her, cursing them because they were in line for the cultural ambassador position. Like, what do you get from that? How is that funny? How is that entertaining? How is that nice? And like I said, people don't care for what is right because what is wrong is more entertaining. So you will see perfectly live cussing, and there are 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people watching. But I bet you, if a man of God came online, or if someone came online and trying to impart knowledge, trying to help the community, trying to be thoughtful, saying some things that are really sound, that's informative and knowledgeable, you wouldn't see the amount of people watching it. So out of that fan base they have, or people that are entertained by those things, they go on ramping, insulting, because it's more or less cloud chasing. Because people want to listen to it, people want to see it, people want to share it. That's what give people the Prophet Key that prominence, or that not even relevance, but that popularity, when he shouldn't, because it's immoral. It's not right. I don't want to come out or sound like trying to judge another person, but we know right when we see it, we know wrong when we
Yeah,
see it, and
absolutely.
we
Yeah,
should be able to call it out.
yeah, yeah. So you see, like what you're saying, friends. Let me tell our viewer out there: if you're watching the show, this is a Rahim show, and I'm your host, Rackie Allie, being joined by my brother and friend, Friendship Body, and we are discussing the issue of morality and Prophet Key, and we see a lot of video of this particular man abusing, using different languages that doesn't represent our society and doesn't represent the kind of position he's want to see himself have in Liberia. So, like for instance, you right there said the thing. We are not having this conversation to just judge anyone. Like I said, my mother trained me, when I was growing up, she showed me to, have respect for others and be able to consider others. We all make mistakes. We all fall short. No one is perfect. But what we are saying, for someone to go use this kind of public media, and abuse people, raw, and not something that they just say all a different language or all a different jargon, but they just say it raw, and everyone can hear what they
Right.
say, and then they want to have position in Liberia. First of all, what are we telling our children? Because being a father of three, if I start using this platform to say things that are not right and
Right.
abuse people,
Hey
what will my
guys,
children think of me? Yeah, welcome
sorry.
back.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
no
at
problem.
work. I'm about to get in the car, so y'all go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself and y'all
Okay.
just go ahead.
Yeah, no problem, no
Okay.
problem. You can still come back. So, like I said, right?
Mhm.
What would my children think of me if I use this kind of, social media and just say a lot of things that are very elusive? My
Right.
children always will say, "Oh, this is our father. This is how he behaving." So you see, we don't want to have that, and we are not here to judge anybody because we do make mistakes. But
Right.
what we are saying, this guy need to apologize to whoever he has, abused, and there's always room for consideration. There's always room for forgiveness. You see,
Absolutely.
but I wanted to read something here that I read, from the American Bar. .org, right?
Mhm.
I come in, you gonna say something, and according to the American Bar, Association, is from the American Bar Association. So according to that American Bar Association, it said, what exactly is civility? We are talking about civility, how to be civilized, a person who will engage the leadership constructively instead of using a performative language on social media.
Right.
What is exactly civility? And the concept of civility is broad. A French and a Latin etymologies of the word suggest roughly relating to a citizen. When we talk about civility, you want to be a civilized citizen. We all are civilized people in this country, civilized immigrant, civilized citizens, if you are naturalized. So, and
Right.
you don't want to just say, because you are a civilized citizen of this country and just use different languages and just, abuse yourself or abuse anyone out there. So they are saying, yeah, you are a citizen. In their early use, the term referred to exhibiting good behavior for a good of the community. And how can you exhibit a rude behavior for the good of Liberia when you can use social media to abuse people, to cause man cause to do? I have a video here. I played a video earlier about this guy, but I want our viewer out there to watch the video again so they can learn from it. This guy said abusing is part of our culture. Let's watch the video one more time.
Cultural
Okay.
ambassador position.
Because I knows the culture very well.
You know the culture of Liberia?
Yes.
What is culture?
Culture is the way of life, a social way of life for people.
Is that the way of life for men to insult women? I come back to my question.
Okay, thank you. It's also a way of life in our culture. Let me educate you.
It's a way of life for men to insult women when they disagree with them?
Not to insult when you disagree, but to insult is a way of life in our culture. Let me tell you.
In our Liberian culture?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where you come from. Maybe you are not very orientated.
Tell me.
But let me educate you. Even yesterday when I went to pack up, when the women there met me.
The women met you?
Yes, they put a lapper down. My ambassador, she's honest to happy. All the song that is sunk from the road to where I sit, they were all insults.
Like what? How they sang the song?
You want me to sing the song?
No. No. This is a family radio program.
Yeah, so you can sing the song.
Okay.
You can't use the language.
Were they insulting you?
It was insulting songs.
To you or to?
No, to me, to everybody around. It's a cultural welcoming. It's all about insults.
I don't understand that.
Yes, it's part of it. You're just young to that.
I was born here. I've never left this country. I don't know what part of our culture suggests that people should insult people to compliment them.
Yes.
How can people spread lappers for you and they insult you at the same time? They use insultive sounds.
No, they're not insulting me. The insult is in the song, and it's the way it look like.
When do people insult, Prophet Key?
Wow. So I think you heard him, putting on a defense, about the whole things about abusing. And, two takeaway, if you watch that video, two takeaway. One was he said to insult is part of our culture. Friends, you and I grew up on Lane Street and we're like, oh man, our age were out of the calendar before we came to the US here. Tell me, what is your take on that particular interview?
It just goes to tell me that this guy, it's embarrassing though. It's embarrassing for this guy to be invited to the studio. I think that was a good opportunity for him to offer a public apology and seek to make amends with a lot of the women that he had insulted. But to sit in studio and talk about cursing, being rude, insulting women is part of our culture since when? We grew up in homes that you dare even look at your elders, your bigger sister, your bigger brothers, your aunties, your uncles. You dare just look at them some kind of way. That even the eye that you give them, the kind of way you look at them, it kind of conveys something. It kind of send them a message that you are being rude, not even altering the word, not even altering an insult, just the way you look at someone, like you kind of swing your eye, or like they say, cut your eye, they'll say you're being rude. So as a result, we grew up in homes that we had to conduct ourselves, and in our environment, we never saw those kinds of things. We never saw people just regularly cussing people on Facebook or just stand in the street and curse people, well, he's lying. And then it just because before a person can get to a place where they want to issue an apology, they have to be convinced. They have to come to the realization and self-conviction that, oh, what I'm doing, it is really not helpful. It's not helping. It's wrong. But this young man is showing no sign of even realizing that this is wrong. He's sitting and arguing, talking about the women pull placards, whatever they wear, posters, flyers with insults on it. Since when has that been? Or since when we normalize these things in our society?
So imagine, for instance, imagine somebody want to be a cultural ambassador, right?
Right,
And we got to understand the nature of a cultural ambassador.
right.
You don't value, first of all, you don't value people. If you can use the public media and insult people, then you
Right.
say you want to represent the same people that you insult. How does that really play out? Because it's like you use social media. I mean, these different interview that he had, the opportunity he had, it was a better chance, like you and I are saying, to really come out and say, my people, all of these things, I'm sorry, but I'm a good person. We are not here to judge anybody. We
No,
all make mistakes, but I
right.
mean, I would not be the one to use this particular medium to insult people, because I'm a father of three. I don't want to be insulted. He said, like, today he had he was welcome. People were trying to, a friend of mine and myself had a conversation how, Prophet Key went somewhere and people were trying to, magnify the young man, and for me, I don't want to say anything. Everybody have their way to, to worship anybody want to. I believe God is the only person we should worship. But the fact that this young man were able to say, in that particular meeting today, that he calls people who he feel that, are misusing government fund or so. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, my brother. It doesn't make any sense. There are different approach that you can use to engage government, and make them to improve. But you don't
I,
have to use social media to
I,
cause. Go ahead,
I
first.
mean,
You want to say something?
to that point of trying to point out government or government employees for misusing public funds. There is this saying that says there is a right way to do the right thing and the wrong way to do the wrong thing, right? We all can sit and say, oh no, misusing public fund or public resources, especially for a country like Liberia where poverty is off the roof, where people are really, really suffering from um, poverty. And the limited resources, just a few people in government or in positions are squandering them. Totally unacceptable for a country like Liberia. And you can have conversation, you can engage these sectors or these people and have a healthy conversation, and most time bring them to the community and have these kinds of conversation with them. And you're totally right. And I'll be here healing you, and I'll be here supporting you. I'll be here in whatever way. I'll be here to join you to kind of bring people to both, to kind of confront people, to kind of bring people to both to realize that the national cake should not be consumed by just few hundred people. But I feel like even cursing them doesn't conscientize them to think that they're doing something wrong. And they might see you like for Prophet. I mean, maybe if someone showed this podcast to him, we might get our own latches in one way or the other, which
Yeah,
I really,
obviously. I mean,
I
a
really
follower might
don't.
say a lot of things about this culture.
Let
Yeah.
me start, yo. I'm trying to draw. Don't let me hit somebody
Hey,
else.
go on mute. Go on mute, please. Go on mute. Go on mute. You can get back later on. Go on mute, please.
I mean, I hope he don't give us our own latches, but howbeit, I really don't care. I like to speak the things as I see it, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. Everything about the
Yeah.
methodology
For
Prophet is
instance,
using is totally unacceptable.
Yeah, friends, you and I grew up, and we spent most of our time on Lane Street there.
Yeah,
And I mean, most of the time when we there, we serve our community. We were people who respect our elder people in the community. Nowadays, somebody ever reported you or me to anyone of this is how we want to see people who want to lead our society, represent, have a morality and have a good behavior.
yeah,
So I wanted to, point out something here that is very important. A question: what makes a good ambassador? So, it's a good ambassador see things from a person perspective, right, and try to understand how their experiences can affect their action and respond. Can you imagine? Their experiences can affect their action and response. You see, that's why it is very important to the particular role. Because if you want to be a cultural, right, you are a brand. You are a
right,
brand of Liberia. If you want to be a cultural ambassador, obviously consider yourself as a brand. And how
right.
do you sell yourself if you can go on air and social media and abuse people? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense and not acceptable. I mean, if you are a follower of Prophet Key, we are not judging Prophet Key on this platform, as we don't want to receive any largesse from anybody too, because why? We are only saying what is right. We are discussing morality as it relates to the topic. We are not discussing about judging anyone. So if you are joining the podcast live on Facebook and YouTube, be a part of the show. Hit the like button in the comment, and we highly appreciate. If you want to come live to and be a part of the show, we are discussing morality, and we are discussing how our government should place people with good moral behavior into places that will lead our country, because they are the reflection of our country. So, Francis, let me read something here again. That they, the early Greek, I like to go to history, right? The
Right.
early Greek thought that the word civility, was both a private virtue, and a public necessity. Civility is very important because it has to do with decency. If you want to be a civilized, citizen, you have to be decent. So it was what a public let's say virtue, and a private virtue as well, private necessity. Because if you are a government official, right, you serve the public, and at the same time you have your own private life, right? We are not judging anyone private life. You can do anything, but we are saying if you are placed in a position to serve your people, you will have to have that morality that help, that build our society, because you are an example, like you said, an example. So follow more. Let me just read what you say here. Which function to hold the state together, and then your function is to hold the state together. Yeah. So it's very important to have a behavior code, of decency and respect. That is a hallmark of living as a citizen in your country. You see, a hallmark. So it's very important. These are some of the things that I just read, about the whole topic, and it's very important that people should align themselves with a decent behavior as they want to lead Liberia. Go ahead, Francis. I know you want to say something.
Yeah, I actually talked to the first sentence that you read, having to do with,
Virtue, yeah.
yeah, personal virtue and private, uh
Necessity, yeah.
yeah, and public necessity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just goes to say, what is necessary publicly, let people live their life the way they want to live it.
Yeah.
Let people have the opportunities that they want to have, and let people enjoy what they earn. How does that definition fit with you just outright insulting people who are paying? They've not even awarded this position, or they've not even nominated or appointed these people into this position that you're vying for. So how are you letting these people live at their own pace when you're attacking them? I think if anybody wants a position, you should. That's what we make friends for. That's
Yeah.
what we
Once you
lobby
qualify,
for.
yeah,
That's
you
what we have
deserve a
contact
position.
for.
You should be given, you should be granted an opportunity to serve.
Yeah,
I mean, if you are,
you
yeah.
prepare yourself, and then who knows? You might be appointed to the position. And to be a cultural ambassador, For a country like Liberia, right? I'm from the northern part, the northwest.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of traditions up there that people in the southeast or even the northeast do not have. So there are different traditions, there are different cultural practices that we
Yeah.
engage in. Now, for a country like Liberia with a 16 political subdivision, 16 counties, mostly all of these counties have their own traditional practices. So, what the ambassador does is to foster the cultural exchange by sharing what he knows from Nimba, because I think he's from Nimba, with people that are from Lofa, people that are from Green Judah, people that are from Grand Basso. So, like, serving as this bridge, this link for the exchange or the interchange of cultural experiences. And these things happen so that people who are not in mainland Liberia, who are not sitting in Monrovia, who are sitting in their farm, their villages, they will have the opportunity to interact with people from every sector of the country, every sector of the political subdivision that they're in. Now, to hold such a position, you have to be disciplined, you have to be knowledgeable, you have to have personal values, and also respect the value of your countrymen. And all of this really, really contradicts with everything that Prophet Key stands for. And it's just, think of it like this, it's just simple human decency, like just letting people live, but people are letting you live. And if you think that by going on Facebook, cloud chasing, insulting makes people to follow you, how about you try another route? There are a lot of positive things we can do.
Yep.
Try a different route. And trust me, if it is informative enough, if it is um, worthwhile, people with good mind, bright mind, will gravitate towards you.
You
You
know,
don't, you don't, you
go
don't
ahead,
always
Francis.
have to. Sorry, my brother. You don't always have to go the rabbit hole of doing it. Like
Right.
I totally don't agree with anything Prophet Key stands for.
Right.
Yep. Let me
Right,
see.
Francis. That everything you said. That's basically what he trying to be. What culture ambassador?
Yeah,
Like exactly. If you want to be that person, that's what you need. You need that value. You need people to look up to you. So
yeah.
if you don't have that, if you can't set that example on your platform, what makes you think people want to vote for you? What makes you think people want to look up to you? So you're right. You're definitely
Yeah.
right.
Key thing here to point out, right? A leader can set an example of respect and decency to decrease the level of inseverity that takes place in society. Like, rudeness that takes place in society. You are the leader, you should be able to set precedent. But then if
Right.
you are the one who doing the insult, then you are not a leader because a leader should come with quality. Like Francis said, come with traits and things and value, virtue, because you have
Right.
to be an example so that all can see and say, oh yeah, this is my leader, this is my role model. But one of the surprising things, Francis, like Francis was saying, right?
Mhm.
Today in our world, if you are not like you and I are having a particular productive show, right? You will not see many people liking, commenting, and following as we talk these, things about morality. But I bet you, if I create a different platform and are using languages, oh, they will say, Ricky bombing. Ricky doing them all. A lot, you will see I'll grow a lot of followers. So people of our time today don't follow anything that will actually make a change or bring about change, but rather they want to see somebody making headway, doing things that they don't even consider first of all, you don't even judge what are the things that it's right or wrong, like you said, morality. But you just subscribe to it because you see the person bombing. You say, yeah, this is, I would join the soup. I would join. So this is how, this is where we are today, in our society. People go, a man like Prophet Key would go on air and and for our viewer out there, if you're watching the show, this is the Rahi Show, and I'm your host, Ricky Ali Big John, by my co-host, Lolo Smith, and my brother, Francis Pala. Let me once again play
Hey.
let me once again play the video so for our viewer out there who are just joined so they can watch the video and see what this guy is saying. Imagine the guy is saying insult is part of our culture. Like what?
Culture ambassador position.
Because I know the culture very well.
You know the culture of Liberia?
Yes.
What is culture?
Culture is the way of life, a social way of life for people.
Is that the way of life for men to insult women? I come back to my question.
Okay, thank you. It's also a way of life in our culture. Let me educate you.
It's a way of life for men to insult women when they disagree with them?
Not to insult when they disagree, but to insult is a way of life in our culture. Let me tell you.
In our Liberian culture?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where you come from. Maybe you are not very oriented.
Tell me.
But let me educate you. Even yesterday when I went to pack up, when the women there met me.
The women met you?
Yes, they put their lapper down. My ambassador, she's honest to happy. All the song that is sunk from the road to where I sit, they were all insults.
Like what? How they sang the song?
You want me to sing the song?
No. This is a family radio program.
Yeah, so you can sing the song.
Okay.
You can't use the language.
Were they insulting you?
It was insulting songs.
To you or to?
No, to me, to everybody around. It's a cultural welcoming. It's all about insults.
I don't understand that.
Yes, it's part of it. You're just young to that.
I was born here. I've never left this country. I don't know what part of our culture suggests that people should insult people to compliment them.
Yes.
How can people spread lappers for you and they insult you at the same time? They use insultive sounds.
No, they're not insulting me. The insult is in the song, and it's the way it look like.
When do people insult? Prophet Key?
People not insult when the people insult for very reason.
Okay.
People insult when they bother with criminals, when they are being abused. When they bother with witchcrafts, and people also insult when they're happy.
When do you insult? Why do you insult?
I insult because criminals are hijacking my country, stealing everything. I don't have guns. The other people have guns. The agents said they brought rebel in the country to remove other people I don't have. That means, so the means that I have to eradicate.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's very interesting to see a man saying that
Let me just come here a little bit. Sorry to cut you off, my brother.
Oh my God.
Now I've listened to man. This is so embarrassing.
You understand it, right?
It is very embarrassing. And he said, this is our culture. This is our culture. It's been that way. And there is this site they call the Quirky Pineapple Studio that I kind of just take general knowledge from. And I just kind of went in there this evening when I saw the post on the topic for discussion tonight. And then they asked a clear question. They said, what is a cultural ambassador? It says, in general terms, being a cultural ambassador means becoming a symbol of your country and culture. And it gives an example. It said, if you are traveling, you basically become your country's international representative.
Right.
What you do, what you say, how you act, and how you interact with others will help the people form their own opinions of you and your country,
right.
/ your culture. I mean,
it's deep.
So,
but you know, he gave the reason why he insult, right?
Yeah.
He basically was stating who he is, but just in a different form, not trying to point it at him.
Right.
You guys understand that? But it is what it is.
Which doesn't make it right.
Go ahead, President. Go ahead. A lot of things that brother said. I mean, like you and I are saying here, and we keep saying it to our viewer out there. We are not trying to judge Prophet Key. We are just saying some of these things are not necessary for our society, especially somebody who want to be a cultural ambassador. Friends, you just give that plain, illustration about who exactly a cultural ambassador is. That was just a clear definition, and I'm very glad that you're able to talk about that. So go ahead, Francis.
And the interviewer nailed it. He said, I've been born in this country, and myself was born. Our friends, I was born in Liberia. I lived in Liberia. I was over 30 years before I came to the US. So I've never seen anywhere where just insulting people because you don't agree with them. And I remember this guy, it's a Radio Veritas. T. Mari used to have a show where he always used to kind of say, let's agree to disagree, or let disagree to agree, right?
Yeah.
And we can do that in a very safer way.
Yeah.
We can get into an engagement. We're talking about something, and I may have basis or reasons for presenting my argument the way I present it because of what I know about that topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you might be countering my argument on the basis of what you know. So, on the basis of your knowledge, you may simply not concede to my idea, just as on the basis of what I know or my facts, I may just not consider your idea. But I can say, okay, if that is your opinion, Ricky, or if that is your opinion, Ludo, I respect that, right?
Yeah.
Now, how can we move past that? We can move past this. So, just as these conversations in Liberia about corruption and stuff, those are substantial conversations that we should have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that we should really, really be talking about every day. And if there are ways that we can be making strides, we can be making progress as to what we can do, what the citizens can do, or the government can do to put some measure into place where corruption will be curtailed.
Mm-hmm.
We should work towards these things.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
then let's go about it in a more holistic, in a more presentable manner, so that
Mm-hmm.
even the people that we are confronting they see are serious. Let's be honest. If someone is stealing money from Liberia and Prophet is going on live, causing them and their mom, you think
Right.
you think they really respect? You think they see Prophet seriously?
No, they definitely won't.
They don't. Now, when they see people gravitating towards his menace, towards his rudeness, towards him insulting, it kind of look more entertaining as to being tactful to solve what the real issue is. And Prophet Key, just from this definition, Prophet Key is in no way a representative of Liberia.
Yeah.
Him being um rude to people, like he don't have boundaries.
Yeah.
Anybody can get it. Anyone can get it.
Right.
When you
Right.
cross this, yeah, like that's not who we are.
Right.
I mean, this is about decency. Is
Right.
this what we want to say? Like, if we be appointing Prophet Key to be a cultural ambassador, is this the image we want to send out there? Is
Right.
this what we want to tell people that this is what Liberia is about? Because that's his conviction.
Yep.
Right.
If it
That's the
wasn't, he
question
wouldn't
that
have
I think
said
our
it.
president should be thinking about right
Right.
now because
Yeah.
Right.
He,
So,
he, yes,
Francis
sir.
and Ryan, do
Yeah.
y'all think he can make it? Do you think the Liberian people will, choose him to become? Do you think so?
well, if let me address it first, Francis. I think everyone might have their own point of view, but I think this young man, he has several opportunity to made up some of the mistake that he made. Like
Mm-hmm.
we are saying, these studio that he was invited, to have some of the show. Those were perfect opportunity. We are not saying that people don't make mistakes. People make
Right.
mistakes,
Right.
but if you are able to accept your mistakes and change, you can be a better person. I've seen people who fall, and there's so many things today. They are good people in society. So what we are saying is, for me, in my capacity, I don't think he deserves the position right now, like the definition for them. From the definition, the way the definition is indicated, right?
Right. I
Such a
agree with
person
you.
with such morality, behavior of morality doesn't, represent, will not represent Liberia, because of that
At this
picture.
time.
Yeah, yeah. At this time, Francis, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to speak to that, and I think that's a really interesting question that Lulu asked. At this point in time, I can categorically state that I don't think Prophet Key is fit for the position,
Mm-hmm.
just on the merits of what we know,
Mm-hmm.
um, the the cultural ambassador should be.
Bachelor.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
characteristics that it should be exhibiting, and those are in contrast with what Prophet Key stands for right now.
Right.
And like Ricky said, ask for more studio time, or he can use his own platform. He has a really huge
Good
following.
followers.
Yeah,
Right.
he has a huge following. Go to the people, and he know what he know. There is something. I
Mm.
feel like there is something in Prophet Key that tells him that what he's doing is not right.
Yeah,
Right. But
But
it's in denial.
yeah, but like I said earlier, one of my favorite quotes: people don't care for what is decent when indecency is more entertaining.
t-
So
so
go back there. He should go back to his followings and make amends. There's always I mean, life is about second chance, right? They say
exactly.
there is always room to make amends, to go back to the people that you've wronged, you've hurt, and just
Why, gentlemen? I have my own brother and friend, Prince Michael. This is someone who I have learned from a lot.
you know.
Welcome to the show, Prince Michael. I think you and I think we talked via Facebook earlier about this whole topic, and it's good to have you, my brother. Welcome to the show. We are discussing the issue of Prophet Key, and also with morality, because we want, our society to have a better reflection when it comes to cultural ambassador. So
Okay.
Yeah,
welcome, brother.
Francis, go hold on, rest Prince. Hold on
yeah.
a second, okay? Hold on a second. Francis, finish what you were saying and then
Yeah.
Prince can come on.
Okay, friends, to conclude what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. Sorry,
Welcome,
Prince.
welcome, friends.
Welcome for yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah. So just to wrap up, in my opinion, at this point in time, I don't think Prophet Key is fit to represent Liberia, to represent our culture, to represent who we are out there. I think he should use the times he have right now,
Mm-hmm.
maybe the next couple of years, to kind of make amends, to kind
Yes.
of go back to the community and really apologize. And what they say, the best apology is changing behavior, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So in as much as you are apologizing, change your behavior towards the people.
Change. Yep.
Yeah. And then that way people can see you that you are making genuine progress toward what you are saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not just apologizing, but stop insulting people. Some of those people that you've insulted, go to them one on one, like ask for time and
Right.
talk to them. And sometimes say it. He knows that he be mostly doing these things for attention. And sometimes
Exactly.
tell people and say, oh, okay, my followers are interested in this, and my followers like these things. This give me more followers and whatever that counts with the following.
Right.
But yeah, for now, for me,
Right.
just
Not
on the
now.
just
Not
on
right
the
now.
basis of what the position stands for,
Right.
and just on the basis of who we are as Liberians. I'm a Liberian. I don't think Prophet can represent me out there for what I stand for.
For what you
Yeah.
stand for. That's right.
Thank,
That's true. I
thank you,
think he
friends.
would do that better next year when his character is improved and he's willing to, help the country and be a leader. So I think he would do better next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So welcome, Prince.
Thank you. Thank you so
You
much for having me.
Thank you,
I'm a bit
friend.
I'm a bit tired, Ricky. Thank you so much. I was walking through the door when I saw you on. I'm like, you know what? Let me jump in the shower real quick and jump back to you.
Yeah.
And I want to just jump on your platform to just lend my voice to the issues that we're talking about, especially when it
Thank
comes
you. Thank you.
to this guy, And I would say it, I'm a straight talker from day one. That's how I became who I
We
am. I'm
we
a straight
we
talker.
all do, brother. We all do. Yeah.
The problem with Prophet Key is not Prophet Key. The problem with Prophet Key is we, the Liberian people.
mm,
The things that we embrace in our society, the way we
Hmm.
embrace those things,
exactly.
speaks a lot about who we are.
Yeah.
And that is the problem we are faced with right now.
Yeah.
I don't know the origin of this story. I don't know how we became the way we became. I don't know why we became the way we are.
Hmm.
In one of my research, I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Is it because of the war? But the war is 25 years ago. We still
Mm,
Right.
use that as an excuse. We have this mentality of being a victim all the time. And in the process of trying to find a cure for something, we created this monster called Prophet Key.
Hmm.
Honestly speaking, I will not mince my words. Prophet Key has no place in our society.
Mhm.
We have a different society. We were born, for me, I was raised by a single mother. We were
mhm.
four boys and a
Hmm.
girl. I was raised by a single mother. One of the key rules in my household was never to talk back to my sister.
Oh, mhm.
Right.
That's true.
My mom made sure of that. She was the only girl in the family, and my mom would not. Even if you ask her what happened and you raise your voice, my mom would say, "Excuse me, what are you saying? Who are you yelling at like that?" At my sister. She protected that girl because that was the way for things to be. We are not a society where men can just open their mouth anyhow and just talk to women.
Right. Just
It's
ruly.
disrespectful, it's rude. How it became a norm of acceptance in our society is what I still can't understand. It's
That
what I
because he's
still can't.
hurt.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're hurt, let me tell you something. I worked tremendously to bring the CDC government to power. I will admit that here. I don't admit it usually, but I admit that here. And one of the mistakes that President Weah made was Prophet Key said something about him, and President Weah in the press statement said, "This is the origin of Prophet Key.
Hmm.
That man called himself prophet, and
Right.
he on Facebook cussing me, cussing my mom.
The name.
If I was in the room with President Weah before he made that statement, I would have told him you made a mistake to recognize that individual. That mention of Prophet Key gave rise to Prophet Key. He was mentioned by the President of the Republic of Liberia. Nobody corrected the president in that room. Nobody brought him back to the back and said, Mr. President, you shouldn't have acknowledged Prophet Key.
Right.
The president went on 3 other times on social media or in a press conference and mentioned Prophet Key. Prophet Key used that as a leverage to come back and continuously insult the president. Now, in Liberia, we have 3 types of divide. We have the
Hmm.
political divide, we have the religious divide, and we have the ethnic divide. When Prophet Key started insulting President Weah, the people who were politically divided, who were against President Weah, embraced him. Again, that's one of the things. In a search for a kill, we created a monster. We embraced Prophet Key.
Right.
It was okay for Prophet Key to come on Facebook and insult our president mother. It was okay for him to come on Facebook and insult people in the government mother. You know why? Because he was doing it to the people that we hated.
Mm.
When Prophet Key realized that he had that energy, that power to do things, it didn't stop there.
Mm.
Prophet Key is on record for saying that women in the United States of America pay his bills in Morocco, send him money to insult other women in America, either for men business or for some transaction that went on or some misunderstanding that went on when they were little girls. Women spend their high-end cash from America, sending him $800, $900,000 to pay his rent, to pay his phone bill, to pay for internet services for him to insult other women. How did we get here? How, as Liberian people, how did we get here? How is it that a woman who was raised in a culture that I was raised in as a man, not to talk back to a woman, can pay another man to insult another woman? How we got there, I don't know. It still puzzles me to this day. Let's come to the issue of the cultural ambassador. I'm not trying to see over the show. I'm just trying to get my points
No, no,
real
go
quick.
No,
ahead.
go ahead,
Go
go
Let's
ahead.
ahead,
come to
go
the
ahead.
issue of the cultural
We
ambassador.
are
Prince, go ahead.
definitely
We've been
enjoying
here.
what
We've
you're
been here for
saying.
a minute now.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
The issue of cultural ambassador, first of all, the cultural ambassador is not a real position. It's an honorary title.
Right.
That title was given to Julie Annie by Charles Tiller.
Right. And then it
And
just
it was because of her, she had a culture true back then because of her tremendous impact on the Liberian culture and then what she was doing back then. Charles Tiller called her cultural ambassador. It's not a position where people get paid. People are appointed to it and they get paid. What Julie Annie did with that position is that she leveraged it and make money out of it by hosting the award shows, connecting with other people. She was invited to programs as a cultural ambassador. She leveraged that position. It is not a appointed position. It's just an honorary position. It's not like you go in the foreign services and you become an ambassador for culture. No, it's an honorary position that was given to her and she held on it. An honorary position like me. I got an honorary position from the Liberia Boxing Association to be called the Liberia Boxing Ambassador.
right.
It's a position that stays with you for life. Nobody can fire you from it. Nobody can take the title away from you because it's honorary. It's not anything substantial. This guy is saying that he wants the president to appoint him as cultural ambassador. What is your contribution to Liberian culture? Sitting on Facebook, holding something in
Costing.
your hand and insulting women? That is your contribution? I don't know who fooled him from Morocco and say he should go back home to be appointed as cultural ambassador or who. He can be a cultural ambassador. Judy Annie can be another cultural ambassador. There can be 5 cultural ambassadors in Liberia
Right.
because the title is not a paid title. It's an honorary title. I don't understand how he understood that position for which he decided to descend on this woman. But even if you want a title like that, let's say even if you want a title like that, if I want to take over my boss man job, the person I will go on, I don't understand the Liberian mentality. My mentality is different. But if I wanted to succeed my boss man, the thing I would do is I will get closer to my boss man.
Right.
I will learn all his dealings and all how he handle things. I will learn how he write his emails, how he do things, and I will stay right behind him, foot to foot, and learn from him. That tomorrow, when he decides to look back at the lot of a group of people behind him and say, Prince know the workings of how I work, and I want to leave this place in the capable hands. I think the
Mm-hmm.
best person. Let me hold Prince's hand and bring him to somebody. So
Bring him
if
to
we want to
somebody.
be a culture ambassador, why not get close to Giuliani?
Right.
Call her up and say, "Oh man, listen, I admire you. You have held a position for some time now. Even play with her. I know you're tired. You're ready to retire, but you know, your son. I want this position. I want to be able to. I love Liberian culture. I want to be able to do this." But he can't because first of all, I hate to look down on my friend, man, but I don't think Prophet Key is literate enough to understand the working dynamics of getting a job. I'm not looking down on him. I'm not saying he. Let me say something. I don't care whether people go to school or not. I
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
care about the way they do things and the
Common
way they
sense.
comprehend things. Common
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he didn't
Yeah.
understand the workings of work, getting to know the woman, getting to know the ins and outs. I guess he don't even know that the position itself is an honorary position.
Yeah.
So he just went for it. He decided that the best way to go about it, they would descend on this woman. And at the end of the day, he got himself into trouble. But let's not stop there. Let's look at the hero's welcome Prophet Key was given when he got to Liberia and
Right.
ask ourselves,
Right.
what is happening with our people?
Mm.
What is happening? Why will it that thousands of people in their numbers will gather and welcome this man? What is the paramount reason why? What reason do we all know Prophet Key? Because he caused people.
Mm.
So we're saying that there are people in Liberia in our society that just sit back and enjoy somebody else derailing, degrading, and insulting
Insulting
other
other
people,
people.
mothers and fathers. How did our society come this way? Ricky, I don't know. I'm still trying to understand that.
Right.
Yep.
That because
It-
that's who he is.
yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
mean, and let me
So
be frank with you. There is no room for him. Whether he can go 10 years from now and
Right.
come back, because we cannot embrace these people in our society because the message is sent down to the younger generation. It means that it's
Right.
okay to pick up
absolutely,
yourself.
brother.
And let me tell you something. My 16-year-old son here, he on social media 24/7. Sometimes I worry about the content that he's watching.
Yep.
Right. Right.
And I'm
That's
like,
what I
okay,
said.
I can't
Same here.
control the thing that he sees, but how do I feel about them? And I want
Right.
to talk about some of these issues to himself with him sometimes, and I feel very uncomfortable that he know Prophet Key.
They
He
are
know Prophet
uncomfortable.
Key, so he watched the videos. There's nothing
I
I can do.
we my
You know,
child will sit down and watch
and
that.
how do I have a conversation with a 16-year-old about Prophet Key insulting women to the, I don't want to say that, to every part of the body? What do I tell my son? Say that that is inappropriate when he's seeing it and he's seeing people are embracing the action of this man. How do I tell him, teach him that it's inappropriate to be like this gentleman, that is wrong to be like this gentleman, to sit on social media and say these things about derogatory things about women? How do
Right.
I separate that from my son when my son can sit down and see the Liberian public accepting it? I don't know what to do here, Ricky. So it's just sad. That's why I wanted to come on and just contribute this point. It's just sad that we
Yep.
have come to this stage in our life, no matter what the level of divine, whether it's political, whether it's religious, whether it's ethnicity, we got to find something that brings us together. If it is the
Right.
Yep.
love for Liberia, then let it be the love for Liberia that bring us together. We can't say, oh, because we didn't let Joseph Boaka, so anything he do is wrong. So I can get on social media now and say, okay, Prophet King getting his fame from causing Joe, we are so maybe when I get on social media and cause Joseph Boaka,
I would do it.
because that's the precedent that will come.
Yep.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Absolutely, brother.
yeah, that's the precedent that
Yeah.
will come.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
to
Yes.
Yep.
stop these
Yep.
things, and we in the diaspora, we need to stop this attitude.
Yep.
We in the diaspora, there are certain people in the diaspora feel that Liberia should be run the way they want it.
They one. Yep.
Right.
And that's
Absolutely,
not
man.
how that country should be run. So
Wow.
anything that they see that they don't like in Liberia, they will spend their last dime to go to the extra level of publicity, wherever it is, to dismantle it. It's not fair, man. It's not fair.
Right.
So I'll just leave it here for now. That's my 2 cents. Let's continue the conversation and we see where we go. But this guy has no space in Liberia. There is no
Right.
way this man can even come near
But
honorary title.
Prince,
Yeah.
believe it or not, there's people who out there want him to become the culture ambassador. You know that,
Yeah.
right? So there's so many people who's voting for him. So there's nothing we can
Yeah,
do
I mean,
because
they can,
people
they can, they
people
can
actually
reach.
like him. People actually
Yeah,
like what he do.
I don't think that's likeness. I think
Uh,
that's hatred.
They
Right.
like the way he talk. They like his, that sharpness, that tune, that kind of confidence he has. It's not all about he cussing. They like that. People like that negative energy in other people. They like that. That
I
that
agree.
that kind of.
I
I
think
think that's what Liberia people like.
I think it goes to speak to one of the points that Prince raised,
Mhm.
where he talked about, if I'm not for you, whatever is against you, I'm for it, in every
yeah.
form, shape, and manner. So people may not really like Prophet Key, but just because they don't like other people that he's insulting, so they tend to gravitate towards him. And
Yeah.
how did we get here?
How? That is my
Why
point
is
right there.
this happening? Why is this acceptable in our society?
But that's what we Liberian
So
people got to change. We got to start supporting person like him.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah,
stop
but
it because
the thing is, most of the other people on the other side of the cameras and the cell phones are grown up people who
right,
you would think like you and myself should know better. We were raised in a
Yeah.
right,
better environment. We were raised by parents who taught us that the
thank
ethics of certain things is wrong. You know, we were raised by these things, so that you will expect that at certain point in time, some people will be more responsible enough and say, "No, I cannot condone this." Let me tell you something. I had two calls about Prophet Key. One was from a senior doctor or surgeon at the University of Penn Medicine, and he called me and he said, "Prince, who is this Prophet Key guy I'm hearing about?" And I said, "Oh, Prof, I'm sorry." Oh." He said, "Why are you apologizing?" I said, "Because the guy is very colorful." He said, "Oh, okay, now I understand." Yeah. I had another call from a pastor in Tennessee. He said, "Oh, Prince, I got a lot of Liberian and congregation in my church. This is a white pastor. I got a lot of Liberian congregation in my church, but I'm hearing this name, Prophet Key. Tell me about him a little bit." So I apologized again. I said, "Pastor, I'm sorry." He said, "Why you apologizing? What do you mean by you sorry?" I said, "The guy is a very colorful guy. Do not even,"
you.
I said, this is why I told the pastor, I said, "Prophet Key is a guy on Facebook that said things that you might want to see so that you can learn from it. But when you see it, you regret it why you see it, but then you can't unsee it."
right,
Right.
right.
You want to say, "Okay, let me see who the Prophet Key guy is." You click on the
Right.
video, but then once you see it, you're like, "Oh, they man
Because
a
no,
colorful guy." No,
Yeah.
but
Right.
then you can't unsee that. It's stuck with you now.
it stuck with you, yeah.
Exactly.
So you
Yeah.
got to see it to learn it, and then when you learn it, you can't unlearn it because now it's part of you.
It's
So
part of
the
you.
Yeah.
moment somebody say Prophet Key, you say,
You know what he's about.
"Yeah,
Right.
you know what it's about back then."
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, "That's the kind of person he is." So
Gentlemen,
yeah.
thank you all, thank you all. But let me tell you one thing my late father told me, that
Mhm.
it's always linked in my ear, and I always tell people, he used to tell me that behave, my child, so the aura minds of your action can enhance the general sweetness of your character. And a lot of people don't behave today.
That's
That's
deep.
why you see. And
This
then
is
one of the
really
things,
good.
like Priest regular said, right? This guy, I mean, a lot of people. I don't know where are we today? What brought to this particular place today? Because why would you have somebody using social media? The other day, like Prince mentioned about his son, right? The other day I was on social media and my daughter came, right by me. So I just flipped and saw Prophet Key saying a lot of things. My daughter said, "Who is the man? How he's looking so high today?" It's just that the American children don't understand our Liberian jargon, our language. So sometimes they tend to ask a lot of questions. But if that little girl were a Liberian and understood this guy is using man calls and causing, she would have said, "Ah, but daddy, what's the major causing of that?" You see, so some of these things we have our kids, using these platforms. And what is it are we teaching our kids if we allow if we condone this kind of thing?
Yeah.
So for our viewer out there, if you're watching the show, this is a Rahim show, and I'm being joined by Francis Paulette and my brother Prince Michael, and also my co-host Lolo Smith. Hit the like button, share the podcast, and be a part of it. If you want to come live, send me a message, and I will send you invite. So I mean, this is just something side in our society to see somebody, and
Right.
even Francis. But Prince, I just want us to watch this video for the last time,
The
so you
fourth
can see,
time.
what the guy said about causing into our culture. Let's
I believe
watch.
Prince
Culture
Arden.
ambassador position.
Because I knows the culture very well.
You know the culture of Liberia?
Yes.
What is culture?
culture is a way of life, a social way of life for people.
Is that the way of life for men to insult women? I come back to my question.
Okay, thank you. It's also a way of life in our culture. Let me educate you.
It's a way of life for men to insult women when they disagree with them?
Not to insult when they disagree, but to insult is a way of life in our culture. Let me tell you.
In our Liberian culture?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where you come from. Maybe you are not very orientated.
Tell me.
But let me educate you. Even yesterday when I went to pack up, when the women there met me.
The women met you?
Yes, they put their lap down. My ambassador, she's honest to happy. All the song that is sunk from the road to where I sit, they were all insults.
Like what? How they sang the song?
You want me to sing the song?
No. This is a family radio program.
Yeah, so you can sing the song. Okay. You can't use the language.
Were they insulting you?
It was insulting songs.
To you or to?
No, to me, to everybody around. It's a cultural welcoming. It's all about insults.
I don't understand that.
Yes, it's part of it. You're just young to that.
I was born here. I've never left this country. I don't know what part of our culture suggests that people should insult people to compliment them.
Yes.
How can people spread lappers for you and they insult you at the same time? They use insultive sounds.
No, they're not insulting me. The insult is in the song, and it's the way it look like.
When do people insult? Prophet Key?
People not insult when the people insult for very reason.
Okay.
People insult when they bother with criminals, when they are being abused. When they bother with witchcrafts, and people also insult when they're happy.
When do you insult? Why do you insult?
So welcome
you
back.
insult when you're happy? I have never insulted.
What will you say about this video? Because the guy is saying that insult it's a cultural welcoming, language that people use. What will you say, my brother? I'm so embarrassed by this particular thing. That's why I keep playing and repeating it for our viewer out there to see and come up with their own conclusion. So what will you say, Prince Michael?
All right, let me say I'll divide it into 3 parts real quick.
Okay.
First of all, he's dead wrong. He knows nothing about the Liberian culture. He knows nothing about our way of life, our culture, and everything. Whatever culture or time frame that he's talking about that he was raised in, where people sang songs, I would refresh his memory. Maybe it was during the war when he got to know himself. That rebel soldiers were on trucks singing songs, how did you look? Okay, how did you look? Maybe if you grow up during that period, then I apologize. I feel bad for him that he wasn't rehabilitated.
Yeah.
But we that knew ourselves prior to the war and grew up with our parents after the war, we were never taught in our society that insult is part of our culture.
No.
Our culture states that when you walk in or when you're in the house, when an older person come in, you stand up and let them sit. Our culture teach you that everybody that is older than you 10 to 15 years is your uncle or your auntie, no matter whether they related to your father or your mother, they are your uncle or your auntie. Our culture teaches us that the community raise a child. You can be sitting home, your neighbor can call you and say, you, Prince, can't go take the money, go buy me pepper on the road. Without your mom consent, you will take that money because that person sending you is considered your mother. Our culture teaches us respect for our elders. The way we talk to our elders. If we can't even call a stranger by their own name to say, oh, Mr. Rackie. In America, when I started working here, newly I went to the job, I met a very old lady there. She was like 69, almost 70. And I said, oh, miss, I call her by name. I said, she said, no. My name is Nancy. It's not miss to you. My name is Nancy. I was like, you could be my mother. She said, this is the job.
Right.
Forget about it. My name is Nancy to you.
Yeah.
So if I, who came from a culture, as a grown man, as a broadcast journalist in Liberia, not afraid to talk to anybody, could still present my culture to a foreigner, a white lady, and say, oh, I want to call you Miss Nancy, and she can go, no. It means that that culture is a part of us.
Right.
So whatever he's talking about there, it make no sense. People will spread lapa for you and insult you. The journalist asked a very good question, which brings me to my second point. If I was in broadcast journalist in Liberia right now, there was no way Prophet Key would have gotten on any radio station in Liberia. I would not have allowed it. I was going to call my colleagues. I was going to criticize them. I was going to call their cell phones. I saw him on Prime FM. I was going to call Kevin Dem and say, man, dude, you know better than this. Why would you give that guy a podium? Why are you giving him a place for him to air his voice, for more people to listen to him? T-Max made a big mistake over there. There's no way Prophet Key should be appearing on the 50-50 show. That's not media. That's not ethical in the media. We know that. This guy can go use his platform and what have you. But if you know the content of his platform and you know what he's capable of, why are you bringing him on national radio, national TV to talk about that? You already know the kind of person he is. To give him the forum to justify that is
And
just to
give him a benefit of that. That's what I was
no.
trying
You
to do.
can let him go do a benefit of the doubt. Let me tell you something. You know, in this great United States where we are, you know,
Mhm.
the news that I get to you are filtered,
Right.
Hmm.
and that's the essence of broadcast journalism. That's the essence of
Yeah.
journalism. Every news you see on CNN and BBC and what have you, the first thing is, if you
Mm,
look at the news pattern, almost all the TV stations in this country carry the same news with the same headline
that's
Yeah.
right.
because they are filtered. You know
Yeah.
why they are filtered? Because if they send everything to you the way they are, this country will not be as peaceful as it is.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
So we in the media, it is our job to make sure that certain news don't get to the people. Certain
People, yeah.
individual is
I agree.
silenced.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If
That's
that
true.
individual was refined, if Prophet Key was refined like you, like me, like Ricky, then he deserved the benefit of the doubt to be on a national radio, national TV. He he did
It's not.
not earn
It's not
that right
qualified for
to
that.
go
Right.
and speak to 5 million people and try to justify his reason for insulting women and implicating that that is our culture, which is not.
Right.
So somebody in the village will be like, no, what the man talking? You know, one old lady will be like, what the man talking? That's not a culture. A little
Right.
child who's listening to that radio station who don't know of our culture will say, oh, maybe this man is saying the truth. Maybe our culture is a way to insult people.
Exactly my
Right.
point.
Right.
And that person will start to curse people. So there is no way I would have allowed Prophet Key to
That
sit
too.
in the radio studio if I was still in broadcast media in Liberia. I would have called every radio station and quarrel with all my colleagues and be like, don't put that man on your radio. It's not ethical.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we all know who he is. He has to
Right.
justify the things that he said. I think at this point, like you were saying when I came on, Francis, he needs to go back to Morocco, re strategize his program,
Right.
come back more refined. Gave himself 5 years of refined good content. I understand Facebook now pay people to put content out there, and when you put good content, they pay you. And most
Right.
of the time, they pay you per reach or per view.
Your
So a lot of
followers.
people start drama on Facebook just to get
Yeah.
that reach and that view, so that they
Mm-hmm.
can make more money. But I also know that there are people with good content. We saw the Cat Williams show on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That show made almost $5 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And we saw him spill the beans, but we
Mm-hmm.
didn't see him directly insult all the other guys. He said things
Yeah.
about them that were partly true, partly lie,
Yeah.
controversial and what have you.
Right.
But you never saw Cat Williams cussing everybody on that show. You never
No.
saw the host allowing it. It was
Yeah.
a very, very informative and refined show. You could do a show like that. You could make
Yeah.
thousands of dollars from YouTube, thousands of dollars from Facebook, and thousands of dollars from Instagram. You don't have to go
Yeah.
around insulting other people mother to do that. That for me is
Yeah.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much for making your point there. So, one of the last questions I will ask you, we're about to wrap our show. So,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that that would being like being in studio, that would being the perfect opportunity for that man to reverse a tune? Do you think, Prince Michael, that maybe bringing let's say having Prophet Key in studio, who have been the perfect opportunity for him to reverse a tune? Go ahead, Prince Michael.
Yeah, I think it would have served as an opportunity if he knew what he was doing. And excuse me, it would have also served as an opportunity for those who interview him to correct him and say, no, you're wrong here. This is not who we are.
Yeah.
And when you leave in the studio today, we hope that you change.
Yeah.
I think giving him the benefit of the doubt, yes, I think he has a platform for that. At this point, we should not be bending our will to Prophet Key. Prophet Key
That's
should be
true.
bending his will to us.
Yeah.
We
Right.
should not be giving Prophet Key the way of the doubt,
Yeah.
the benefit of the
The
doubt.
benefit of that.
We already know who he is. We should not bend our will to him. He should be
Yeah.
bending his will to us. We should see
Yeah.
transformation. He should give us the benefit of the doubt to say,
Right.
okay, yeah, we know that Prophet Key has changed. We
I
should
agree.
see a refined Prophet Key on his show talking about issues that matters. He already has the
Exactly.
publicity and what have you.
Yeah.
Void of insult. I mean, you can call somebody
But
buffoon
this
on your
one.
Yeah.
program. It's
Full
an
Yeah.
level.
acceptable form of insult. It's not that man is a
Yeah.
Exactly.
buffoon. But you can't insult women the way you do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can
Very
tell you
well.
that
Yeah.
I will have a show and I can tell somebody on my show, I say, man, you're talking nonsense.
Yeah.
That's a
Mhm.
form of insult,
Yeah.
but it's acceptable. It's an
Yeah.
acceptable form of insult that you
Yeah.
can do. You can just go and say, "Oh, you caused women the way Prophet Key caused women." It's unacceptable, and he has no
Yeah.
place in our society unless he refine himself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And Prince Michael, it was nice having you here. I mean,
Yeah,
you made a
Prince.
lot of good point, and I hope to see you here again. For our viewer out there, thanks for watching,
You
and it's
give it
about
up,
time.
Prince.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I
I
so
Welcome.
appreciate that.
Prince
I'm
before you
glad I was
leave.
able to join in.
So Prince
You're
before you
welcome. You
leave,
should come
shortly.
on the show more often, right,
I'll
Ryan?
try. I'll try.
Okay,
Okay.
Prince, my
Uh-huh.
brother, it's nice to have you, and I thank you for all your contribution. But before you leave, and lastly, I would like to know, I know, what would be your advice, right, for our president, because we want to see a better Liberia, and
This
you and
man is
I,
politics.
we have made that, we want to see, Liberia being a better country because we want to go back home and see some of the positions that are given to people who want to see them serve for the best interest of our country. So, what would be your advice to our president, in Liberia?
Well, the first thing I would say if I was to advise the president right now would be improvement in three sectors. The
Okay.
president need to focus his agenda on three sector improvements.
Okay.
And the key, because I know there are a lot of challenges the president has to go through. Forming his government, which is part of the normal thing, he has to form his government and what he's doing now. So we give him the benefit of the doubt. He got 100 days to go,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's doing that. But if the president wants to succeed, let me give him this advice. The first area the president need to focus on will be security.
Yeah.
If the president wants to succeed, Liberia needs to be secure. We
National
need
security.
Liberians need to be free in
Yeah.
the length and breadth of Liberia. We need to be able to walk the street at night knowing we're not going to get harassed and
Yeah.
hijacked. We need to be able to move freely, don't matter the time of the night. When I lived
Yeah.
in Liberia as a young kid, I used to go to the club and come home 2 a.m.
Yeah.
This was during child stealer time. And I knew that somehow the country wasn't safe, but it wasn't as bad as it is now.
Yeah.
Where you will get hijacked and a knife point and your phone taken away from you and everything. So there needs to be some level of security across the length and breadth of Liberia that renew the hope of our people so that they can understand that, okay, yeah, we are free. Because when people are free, they become more creative to do things.
Oh yes.
The second place I would want to advise the president to focus on would be this electricity thing we're talking. Liberia, again, we're not a victim. We can't keep playing the victim mentality with just from war and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. We
Security.
need to focus on getting ourselves a stable, reliable electricity in Liberia that
Yeah.
can supply meet the needs of businesses and individuals.
Yes.
And we need to do that as soon as possible because that will power the economy. The
Yeah.
third place I want the president to focus, Ricky, will be the Ministry of Post and Telecom. We are in the content age, okay? We are in the content age. When I say the content age,
Yeah.
what is that? We're in an age where people produce content on Facebook, they make money, people sell on social media, the e-commerce age. Liberians should be able to sell products from Liberia privately as
Yeah.
an individual
Yeah.
to people in the United States, in Hong Kong, in China, and in other places. How can we effectively do that? Is if we have a reliable and sustainable postal system that
Yeah.
when we post the goods from Liberia and we tell the client 3 to 5 business day, the 3 to 5 business day that goods will be at the doorstep of the client. Reason why that is important because if you create a unique, reliable, and consistent postal system, everybody don't have to work in government. I could stay in Liberia. I could design packets of pepper like this.
Yeah.
And I could sell that pepper to people in China. I could sell it to people in Australia because
Yeah.
it's from Liberia. I could sell it to Liberians in the United States. So at that point, I become self-employed and I'm working for myself because the postal system works.
Yeah.
I can sell lapa. I can sell wig. People can sell different things, paintings, furniture, mini, design and chains, bracelets. People can go online and sell these things across the world. It's a multi-billion dollar industry, e-commerce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we see and people can list their businesses and stores on Amazon and they can make a lot of money. But the key here is if you put your business on Amazon right now, somebody in, let's say, Taiwan buys from you. How soon is the product going to get to the person?
Yeah.
The president need to encourage, improve the post and telecom of Liberia to make sure that he have carriers that are reliable that can take things from Liberia in 3 to 5 business days to the destination. And let me be honest with you for the record. I gave this advice to the previous government. They did not listen. And I'm giving this advice to this government now. If they don't listen, the next government come there, that will be a key place to start from. If you create a system of post and telecom where people in Liberia, somebody in Grand Cook County in the village with a cell phone can take a picture of a pop that he made out of clay and sell it to someone in Japan, that person become an entrepreneur. He can make 10 pots and sell it to 20 people across the world for $100. That's $2,000. He don't need to wait for government appointment. He don't need to wait for anything.
Hmm.
So
You need to
key
go. You need to go run though. Go to
key
Liberia. Go run.
key
Please.
for the president right now will be security, improve the security sector, make sure people can walk around and try to, when you improve that security sector, what you will see is you will see a two-shift economy.
Yeah.
In
Right.
America, here we got three-shift economy. We go to
Yeah.
work, 7 to nine to
To three,
five,
7 to
7 to
Right.
3.
11,
Yeah.
11 to
Right.
7. We got a
Yeah.
three-shift economy here.
And 3
If
to
you
11,
improve
11.
the security system sector in Liberia, Liberia will become a two-shift system
Yeah.
where people will go to sell in the market or to open restaurant from 7 or from 6 a.m. to 9 or 5 p.m. Other group of people will come and open a restaurant from 5 to 11 p.m.
11
That
p.m.
will help Liberian to work. So if I was going to school from 6 a.m. to 9 or 2 p.m., I'll go to school from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'll go home, change, run my errands, and open my restaurant from 5 to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'll be able to go to school and work. But we have a country that is in total darkness because we don't have electricity, that is
Electricity. Yeah.
unsafe because
Yeah.
we don't have security, and we can't even work because of that. So
Right. How
at
can we
the end
get
of the
this
day,
information to the president?
Yeah.
How can the president?
I
How can
gave
we get
this.
that?
Yeah.
Let me be honest with you. I passed this
It's on
advice to
Facebook
the
right now.
previous
So
government. I gave this advice to the previous government. They said, "Oh, it was a good idea. We'll work on it." It went through the year. It came out of the other one.
yeah.
I say
Right.
this to this government again.
Well.
Start focus on the post and telecom. All you need to do to a post and telecom is sign contract with few carriers, SM Brussels, maybe Ethiopian airline. Make sure they pick up the packages from that place and deliver it to the destination. If you've posted from Liberia to the United States, the moment that package get to the United States, it's no longer your worry.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
USPS will sort it out and they will distribute it
And send it to where it goes. Yeah.
and send it to where it goes.
Yeah.
So you just need maybe 3 or 4 carriers that routinely pick up
Yeah.
packages from Monrovia to Brussels to JFK and let it go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just and the post and telecommunication minister, if he's listening, you can make that ministry into a multi-million-dollar
Yep.
ministry that gives to the covers of the government of Liberia instead of waiting for budgetary allotment every year, saying that, oh, we need 3 million for budgetary allotment to pay staff. I posted on Facebook the other day, Ricky. I said, give me any sector, budgetary or not. Give me 2 years. I
Yeah.
will put money in the covers of government
Yeah.
because it's
Wow.
all in the mind.
I saw that post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the 3 things I think President Boaga should focus on.
Yeah.
And I can tell you within his first 3 to 5 years, he'll be very successful.
I
Thank
wish
you
he
very
should.
much.
I wish he listened to you. I wish he listened.
I hope he
That would be
does.
good.
There are
He
people
will. He
around him
will.
that are
We're
listening to
gonna
me and they
share
I
need
mean,
that.
help.
We're gonna share this
if
podcast on all the different platforms out there. Prince Michael, thank you for your
Right.
salient point. You just made it there. Three important national security issue. We talk about security. You talk about let's say electricity, and you talk about how to improve the post and telecommunication sector. Thank you very much, brother, for having you.
Right.
Thank
It's
you.
always a
Really.
pleasure to have you.
You said a
And
lot. I'm gonna get into learning more about Liberia and learning more about the politics and stuff.
the
I'm not
brother
I'm
is
Okay.
not
rep.
into it. I'm focused on my
The
own little
brother
thing and going to work. But
the brother is
that
rep.
was
He's rep.
awesome.
He prepared himself. He prepared himself for a position in Liberia very soon. And I'm sure
That's
that
nice.
God
That's
willing,
nice.
God willing, that
Prince said we're gonna join down. We're following you,
Ricky,
Prince. We're coming.
I don't know.
We're
I don't
coming.
know if the people here will let me go. 3 times I asked for vacation, 3 times it was denied. So
Oh,
I
keep
know.
trying. Keep
I,
trying. You see, Barack kept on trying. Look at him now. He's the president, right?
yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna get
You gotta keep
application, my
yeah,
trying.
brother.
I
You
mean,
can't. You
yeah.
can't
You
stop.
gotta keep.
One
You gotta
because
keep trying.
I did.
Where he actually works, he's a very important employee. So the people love him and they don't want him to leave. So that's why They keep
That's
holding
good.
him back. But
Yeah,
Prince, keep
Yeah.
trying.
my boss told me
Yeah,
one day, he said, man,
keep,
I'm afraid that when you go to Liberia, you won't come back. That's
you
my
will come
point.
back.
I'm like, dude, I gotta go
You
see
see,
my kids. But
that's how resourceful you should be. You know, when you work at a
Right.
place.
Like,
That's
So
do
people
it.
can
exactly that.
when you're leading,
You have
somebody will
people who's
worry and
gonna
say, "Oh,
support
but
you, you know?
we are
yeah,
losing an important employee." That's
we
how
there are many
yeah.
sectors in Liberia, and you will see me post about it in the coming days. There are many sectors in Liberia we can
Yeah,
improve. I don't even want to
yeah,
start with tourism.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even want to start with farm to market. I don't even want to
We
go
we
there.
we
There's
we,
like
we will we will have a time to discuss some of these things, my brother.
yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think we should set a day aside
yeah,
Right.
we
to
have a
Saturdays.
discuss this
Don't
yeah
do it
because
on the weekdays. Do it on
we
the
have
weekend.
we
Weekends,
yeah
like
yeah
for me, I gotta go to work.
yeah, we will
I
have a
just came
day to
from work.
discuss some of these things, and I'll
Yeah.
reach out to all of you. But thank you,
Just keep
Prince
me posted.
Michael.
Hmm.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining the show, and it was good having you. To all our viewers out there, thanks for watching. We have come to the end of our broadcast, and it's always good to have you all in studio. My friend and brother, Francis Pallet, my co-host Lolo Smith. Thank you all
I'm
for
here.
watching, and good night.
Good
Thank you,
night,
man.
y'all.
Good night.